All right. So let's look at your RC literature test 3 and see how this passage is being given. He says a child and a man were one day walking to the seashore when the child found a little shell and held it to his ear. Suddenly he heard sounds, strange, low and melodious sounds, as if the shell were remembering and repeating to itself the moments of this oceanic home. So basically, can I say that the child found something strange, a strange sound when he started listening to the shell? Here in the little shell, apparently, was a voice from another world, and he listened with delight to its mystery and music. Then came the man explaining that the child heard nothing strange. So basically, he says that this voice that he got from the shell was not unnatural. Okay, the pearly curves of the shell simply caught a multitude of sounds too faint for human ears. So basically, the sounds were there, but they were too, what do you say, minuscule to catch by the human ears. That means they were too uh, soft. They were not loud enough. Okay, and filled the glimmering hollows with the murmur of innumerable echoes. So because a pearl has, a seashell has these kind of hollows, so they kept on reverberating. So they kept on filling these with innumerable echoes. So the sound keep on going, echoing in this particular seashell. That's why the child was able to hear it. It was not a new word, but only the unnoticed harmony of the old that had aroused the child's wonder. That means this was not something new, it was not a strange phenomena. Instead, it was something that was already there, but just now he noticed it. So initially, it was unnoticed, and that aroused the child's wonder. Some such experiences as this await us when we begin the study of literature. So he's giving you some kind of a parallel, a metaphoric reference, okay, which has always two aspects, one of simple enjoyment and appreciation, the other of analysis and exact description. Little song appeal to the ear, or a noble book to the heart, and for the moment, at least, we discover a new world, a world so different from our own that it seems a place of dreams and magic. So basically, what's he saying? That if you take a song to the ear, or you take a good book, okay, and for some time you'd be in a different world than yours. Okay, to enter and enjoy this new world, to love good books is for their own sake, as the chief thing. To analyze and explain them is less joyous, but is still an important matter. So basically, the enjoyment is for your own sake, and it's the lesser important thing, whereas explaining and analyzing them is an important matter, but it is not very joyous. Okay, so behind every book is a man, behind the man is the race, and behind the race are natural and social environments whose influence is unconsciously reflected. That means everything that's presented in literature has a socio-economic or socio-political context attached to its what do I say, uh, definition altogether. Okay, these also we must know, if the book is to speak its whole message. In a word, we have now reached a point where we wish to understand as well as to enjoy literature. At the first step, since exact definition is impossible, is to determine some of its essential qualities. Since we cannot define literature exactly, we want to find out about some of the essential qualities. The first significant thing is essentially the artistic quality of literature. All art is the expression of life in forms of truth and beauty, or rather, is a reflection of some truth and beauty which are in the world, but which remain unnoticed until brought to our attention by some sensitive human soul. Just as the delicate curves of the shell reflect sounds and harmonies too faint to be otherwise noticed. That means, unless someone shows you, unless someone notices this and shows it to you, you would not really realize the beauty of literature, because it might be in things that you see every day, but it goes unnoticed. Okay, in a pleasing, surprising way, all artistic work must be a kind of revelation. Okay, so maybe all literature is a kind of revelation. Thus, architecture is probably the oldest of arts, yet we still have so many builders, but a few architects. That is, men whose work in wood or stone suggests some hidden truth and beauty to the human senses. So he's saying that anyone could build, but only an architecture understands the art inside each of the buildings. So in literature, which is the art that expresses life in words that appeal to our own sense of beautiful, we have many writers but few artists. So just like there are a lot of builders but few architects, there are many writers but there are only a very few what do you say artists. In the broadest sense, perhaps literature means simply the written records of the race, including all its history and sciences, as well as its poems and novels. In the narrower sense, literature is the artistic record of life, and most of our writing is excluded from it, just as the mass of our buildings, mere shelters from storm and from cold, are excluded from architecture. So the author, I can say, is drawing comparisons to make us understand things better about what is the meaning of literature altogether. Okay, a history or a work of science may be and sometimes is literature, but only as we forget the subject matter and presentation of facts and the simple beauty of its expression. Okay, that means even science can be taken or a history can be taken as a work of literature, provided it gives us that kind of a beautiful expression instead of just stating facts. Okay. The second quality of literature is its suggestiveness, its appeal to our emotions and imagination rather than to our intellect. It's not so much what it says as what it awakens in us that constitutes its charm. So it's not basically what is given or what is told, okay, but how it appeals to our emotions and imaginations. When Milton makes Satan say, myself am hell, he does not state any fact, but rather opens up in these three tremendous words a whole world of speculation and imagination. So basically, we do not know what Satan is like or what hell looks like. But when Milton wrote about Satan and he said, myself am hell, the description of Satan was enough for us to paint a picture about how hell would look like. Okay, when Faustus, in the presence of Helen, asks, was this the face that launched 1,000 ships? He does not state a fact or expect an answer. He opens a door through which our imagination enters a new world, a world of music, love, beauty, heroism, the world's splendid, the whole splendid world of Greek literature. So basically, when this person Faustus is asking Helen, okay, or in the presence of Helen is asking, okay, was this the face that launched 1,000 ships? So he's not giving an answer or he's not expecting an answer per se, but he's opening us an imagination that there could be someone who is strong enough to launch 1,000 ships by themselves. So we can understand that the more important part of literature is to give us that imagination, that speculation. Okay, and how exactly are they giving us this imagination or speculation? By appealing to our senses, right? So they are appealing to our senses. That is what is happening. Okay, so I hope all of you have understood this particular. Oh, okay, so the answer is right here. All right, so anyways, let's look at why is the answer B. Okay, so the question says, what is the primary purpose of the passage? Now, as we know, the primary purpose of the passage is to make sure that we understand what literature really is. Okay, that it's not just something that's to be enjoyed, but we need to also analyze exactly what's happening in literature because he's constantly saying that there are two components of literature, right? So, according to that, A, to explain the significance of literature to human beings and to distinguish its contribution from other arts. So, we are nowhere distinguishing the contribution. In fact, we are making parallels about each art. Right. What about C, to explain what qualities make literature worth reading and analyzing? So, see, again, we're not actually looking for qualities that make literature worth reading because literature is so essential and it's worth reading so much. We are looking at qualities which evoke our imagination. So, C is also gone. In fact, both of these are out of scope choices. Right, and D, to understand the nature of literature and explain its impact. Now, this also we can consider as an inconsistent choice. Okay, so right answer will be